Most marriages do not bring happiness because the contracting parties neither understand nor attempt to understand the law of hypnotic rhythm.
Welcome back to River Queen Conjure, No Narc Network TV, and Oshun Ajay exclusive. I am the Oracle, Oshun Ajay. This is lesson 26 of Dissecting the Devil, my people. Let's get it.
Through the operation of which every word they speak, every act in which they engage, and every motive by which they are inspired to deal with each other, is picked up and woven into a web that entangles them in controversial misery, or gives to them the wings of freedom through which they soar above all forms of unhappiness.
So basically what he's saying is that contingent upon the way that we act towards one another, the way that we speak to one another, and our motives for dealing with one another, we are either trapping ourselves in a web of misery with one another, or we're growing together and rising above the influence of lower vibratory energies.
Every newly made acquaintanceship between people ripens into friendship and then into spiritual harmony, sometimes called love, or plants a germ of suspicion and doubt which evolves and grows into open rebellion, according to the way in which the participants in the acquaintanceship relate themselves to one another.
So basically, every new acquaintance that you make has the potential to either develop into a friendship and then maybe into something deeper, something similar to love, or that person's energy will be rebellious or disagreeable with yours, and that new acquaintance can turn into something more of an enemy, okay?
Hypnotic rhythm picks up the dominating motives, aims, purposes, and feelings of the contacting minds, and weaves these into some degree of faith or fear, love or hatred, its shape. As it does with time, it is forced upon the contacting minds and made a part thereof.
So basically, hypnotic rhythm picks up on your motivations, your intentions, the energies that are moving you, the dominating energy. So for example, if you're moving in fear, hypnotic rhythm will grasp that energy, form a pattern by which you are trapped in fear. But if you're motivated by faith and love, then hypnotic rhythm will also grasp those positive energies and form a pattern by which you are surrounded by those things that you have faith in and that which you love, okay?
In this silent way does nature make permanent the dominating factors of every human relationship. In every human relationship, the evil motives and the evil deeds of the contacting individuals are coordinated and consolidated into definite form, and subtly woven into that all-important human trait known as character. In the same manner, the motives and the deeds of good are consolidated and forced upon the individual. You see, therefore, it is not only one's deeds, but also one's very thoughts which determine the nature of all human relationships.
You are leading into pretty deep water. Let's keep it near the shore, where I can follow you without fear of getting beyond a safe depth. Go ahead and tell me how this subject of human relationships actually works in the current affairs of a problem-filled world such as we have today.
That is a happy thought. But let me make sure you understand the principles I am telling about, before I try to show you how to apply them in the affairs of life. I wish to be sure you understand that the law of hypnotic rhythm is something that no one can control, influence, or evade. But everyone can relate himself to this law so as to benefit by its inexorable operation. Harmonious relationship with the law consists entirely of the individual changing his habits so they represent the circumstances and the things the individual wants and is willing to accept.
So you basically have to exchange your old habits for new ones that are in alignment with what you want.
No one can change the law of hypnotic rhythm any more than one can change the law of gravity. But everyone can change himself.
So no one can change the law of hypnotic rhythm, but you can use it to your benefit by exchanging old habits for new ones that align you with your higher self.
Remember, therefore, in all the discussion of this subject, that all human relationships are made and maintained by the habits of the individuals related.
All human relationships are made and maintained by the habits of the individuals related. Nikola Tesla taught us that if we wished to know the secrets of the universe, that we would think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So if all relationships are made and maintained by the habits of the individuals involved, then we can safely conclude that we naturally gravitate towards those who vibrate on our same frequency. So for a lot of people whose relationships ended abruptly, if you pay attention, you'll notice that the relationship ended right at the point when you were beginning to expand or grow in some way, shape, or form. The person you were with was probably not growing, correct me if I'm wrong, but the immutable fact is that because you began to grow and the other person didn't, you no longer vibrated on the same frequency, and so your energies, by their very nature, had to part ways. Okay?
The law of hypnotic rhythm plays only the part of solidifying the factors which constitute human relationships, but it does not create those factors. Before we go further with the discussion of human relationships, I want you to get a clear understanding of the subconscious mind. The term subconscious mind represents a hypothetical physical organ which has no actual existence. The mind of man consists of universal energy. Some call it infinite intelligence, which the individual receives, appropriates, and organizes in definite thought forms through the network of intricate physical apparatus known as a brain. These thought forms are replicas of various stimuli which reach the brain through the 5 commonly known physical senses, and the 6th sense, which is not so well known. When any form of stimuli reaches the brain and takes the definite shape of thought, it is classified and stored away in a group of the brain cells known as the memory group. All thoughts of a similar nature are stored together, so that the bringing forth of one leads to easy contact with all its associates.
So basically, all thoughts are stored into different sectors of the brain according to their energy, their frequency, and vibration. So basically, when you think a thought of a certain frequency or vibration, it's naturally going to collect thoughts of like frequency and vibration. So this is why it's so important that if you want to experience positive things, that you discipline your mind to think only of the things that you want to create and experience, and not to think of the things that you don't want. So due to thought association, thinking negative thoughts will naturally send you spiraling down into a collection of other thoughts of that same frequency. So this is how you start spiraling down into depression, which is essentially just a negative loop of hypnotic rhythm. Okay?
The system is very similar to the modern office filing cabinet, and it is operated in a similar manner. The thought impressions with which one mixes the greatest amount of emotion or feeling are the dominating factors of the brain because they are always near the surface, at the top of the filing system, so to speak, where they spring into action voluntarily the moment an individual neglects to exercise self-discipline.
So basically, the moment you neglect to exercise self-discipline is when the things that you have made a habit spring into autopilot. So you can either make bad habits or you can make good habits. And if you've made bad habits, then you can always change those. Regardless of which habits you choose, hypnotic rhythm will take over and integrate them into a permanent aspect of your personality and overall disposition. Okay? So these habits, which he refers to as emotion-laden thoughts, are so powerful that they cause the person to rush into some sort of action that they haven't run through their reasoning faculty, basically saying that these people are acting without thinking, which explains why a narcissist does things that make absolutely no sense at all. Okay?
These emotional outbursts usually destroy harmony in all human relationships. The brain often brings together combinations of emotional feelings so powerful they completely set aside the control of the reasoning faculty.
So basically what he's saying is that the brain assembles combinations of emotions that are so powerful that it causes the person to completely set aside the reasoning faculty. This essentially means that this person who is going into what we call a narcissistic rage is essentially temporarily or permanently insane. Check it out.
About this.
I can do whatever I want. It's my shit in my
No,
house.
it's not your stuff,
If
James.
I
This
break
is my
something-
personal stuff.
If I break something in
This
my
is
house.
my personal
fuck.
stuff. You know what, Danny?
If I break
Go.
something in my house.
Get out of my house now.
Oh.
Go.
Oh, if I
Go.
bust something, like if I were to bust that,
Danny,
nobody gives a fuck.
Go.
On all such occasions, Human relationships are apt to be lacking in harmony.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Go.
Nobody fucking cares,
Go.
Christy.
Jenny, get out of my house
Nobody gives
now.
a shit. Nobody
Go.
gives a shit.
Go.
Don't have to.
Go. Jenny, go. Your son is
You're
inside
blocking.
and you're going
Don't
to
give a
scare the
fuck.
shit out of him.
Don't give a fuck.
Through the operation of the sixth sense,
Intuition.
the brain of a human being may contact the filing cabinet of other brains and inspect at will whatever thought impressions are on file there.
So fine-tuning your intuition gives you the ability to tap into the minds of other people at will. This is a fellow tarot reader picking up on my energy and even named my stalker by name. Check it out.
So I hear right away Venus retrograde. So that means something to somebody here? Goddess. You hear that? Goddess of love. Yeah, because you are known in the tarot deck as the Empress. So it's you and Libra, Taurus and Libra, right? Yeah, the goddess of love. We're getting here. But I feel like you're making money. This is Ten of Pentacles. This is about money right there. So I feel like you're making money. Maybe it's online. You're making money online or something. And then, yeah, this is a star card. Like, I feel like that you are a star right here. I feel like that you are definitely healing. Maybe it's your financial situation right here. The star card. You could actually be an actual star. You are a star. You're supposed to be a star in this lifetime or something like that. They're trying to block the fact that you are a star. That's what they're trying to do. But they want to block that energy right there. That is so beautiful for you. It's like, oh my God. Yes, that is beautiful. Energy that's right there, okay? And this person is trying to block that. That is off the freaking chain. Somebody here is trying to block it, okay? So I'm getting here. I hear this person's name is Clarence or something like that.
The condition under which one person may contact and inspect the filing cabinet of another person's brain is generally known as harmony. But you may better understand what is meant if I say brains attuned to the same rate of thought vibrations can easily and quickly exercise the privilege of entering and inspecting each other's filing cabinets of thoughts.
And this is the reason why twin flames are able to communicate telepathically.
In addition to receiving organized thoughts from the filing cabinets of other brains through the sixth sense,
Or intuition.
one can, through this same physical organ, contact and receive information from the universal storehouse known as infinite intelligence.
And next, recognition of the existence of infinite intelligence that gives originalness to the entire universe. That the individual, you that is a minute expression of this intelligence. And as such, you, the individual, your mind has no limitations except those accepted or set up in your own mind.
Hill speaks on the idea that humans can access a universal intelligence deeper than individual thought. He writes, "Through the faculty of creative imagination, the finite mind of man has direct communication with infinite intelligence. It is the faculty through which hunches and inspirations are received. It is by this faculty that all basic or new ideas are handed over to man." He'll believe that by getting into a mode of creative imagination and combining this state with powerful desires and emotions, humans could access the universal mind, the intelligence of the one consciousness that unites us all, and bring forth plans and insights previously thought unimaginable.
Well, if I had wavered 1 second in my belief that I would do it, I would never have done it. You have any idea what played the strongest part in what I've achieved? It wasn't my brilliancy. It wasn't my outstanding intelligence. I have no more brilliancy than the average person, and no more intelligence than the average person. But there was something in there that was responsible for it. I believed I could do it, and I never stopped believing it. The harder the going was, the more I believed I would do it.
Sometimes it feels like an intelligence far deeper than the thinking mind moves through in times of deep imagination and flow. So perhaps it's possible that the intelligence of the universe can be tapped into and manifest in us as the source of deeper insights.
All information reaching one's brain through the sixth sense comes from sources not easily isolated or traced.
My God. Yes, that is beautiful. Energy that's right there, okay? And this person is trying to block that. That is off the freaking chain. Somebody here is trying to block it, okay? So I'm getting here. I hear this person's name is Clarence or something like that.
Therefore, this sort of information is generally believed to come from one's subconscious mind.
His name is Clarence or something like that.
The sixth sense is the organ of the brain through which one receives all information, all knowledge, all thought impressions which do not come through one or more of the 5 physical senses. Now that you understand how the mind operates, you will more easily understand how and why people come to grief through improper human relationships.
I'm asking you nicely to go.
No, I don't have to. Go ahead, call
Do
the
not
police.
touch my
Call 'em.
things.
I'll do what the fuck I want.
Go.
It's my house.
No,
Are you
it is
paying
not
it?
your house, Danny.
And we'll bust the rest of this shit up too, Chrissy. Let's go ahead and have it out. Let's have it out because that's what you want.
I don't want to have anything.
Okay, then
out
let's
there.
get a fucking divorce,
What
asshole.
I wanted was for you
I
to
don't
be
want
nice.
nothing to do with you. I don't want nothing to do with you.
So everything you've been saying for the past 2 months has been a fucking lie, just
No,
like the
because
rest
you're
of
a
your
fucking
life.
asshole.
Why,
You're
Danny?
a fucking
Because
asshole.
I asked
I don't
for
want
you-
nothing to be with you, Christy.
Okay.
Just fucking divorce.
I
Fucking
said
get it done.
yesterday I will, and today you can go until we figure out who's going to be here.
You will also understand how human relationship may be made to yield riches in their highest form, riches in material, mental, and spiritual estates.
Popped up with this negligee on. I was like, this is going to happen on a night that I'm extremely tired. But out of nowhere, I just got this boost of energy, you know? And she tongued me down.
I don't think it ever there was like a light bulb moment when it went off over my head like, oh my God, he's the one. But I did notice that he was different from, other guys and other relationships that I had been in. He had this thing where he would never say a derogatory word about women. That was something that stood out to me, and that showed me more than he was already showing me, that he put women on this pedestal and held them in high regards and had a lot of respect for women.
Moreover, you will understand there can never be happiness except through understanding and application of the right principles of human relationships. You will understand, too, that no individual is an entity unto himself, that completeness of mind can be attained only by harmony of purpose and deed between 2 or more minds.
He was like, I think she liked you. I was like, oh, for real? I was like, wow. He was like, yeah, I'm telling you now, if you're going to deal with her, make sure you be straight up. We came to the studio. She didn't show up that particular day. We set up the session.
Because I never really wanted to do a song anyway. I just liked him, so.
And then
You will understand why every human being should, of his own choice, become his brother's keeper in fact, as well as in theory.
another day, she actually showed up, and we did a track together called Bonnie and Clyde. Before the session was over, I just asked for her number, and after that, the rest was history.
What you say may be true, but I still insist that you have me beyond safe depths of thought. Let us get back nearer to the shore, where I can wade in familiar water. We shall go out into the deeper water after we learn to swim well. We started out to discuss the subject of how to profit by adversity, but it seems we have drifted somewhat afield from that subject.
We have detoured, but we have not drifted. The devil never drifts. The detour was necessary in order that you might be prepared to understand the most important part of this entire interview. We are now ready to get back to the discussion of the subject of adversity. Inasmuch as most adversities grow out of improper relationships between people, it seems important to understand how people may become properly related. Naturally, the question arises as to what is a proper relationship between people. The answer is that the proper relationship is one that brings to all connected with it, or affected by it, some form of benefit.
I knew she was the one, was when we separated, I always wanted to be, I couldn't wait to get back in her presence.
What then is an improper relationship?
Any relationship between people which damages anyone, or brings any form of misery or unhappiness to any of the individuals.
Hey, we're not in agreement on anything other than 50-50 custody of kids. Okay,
All I
good.
wanted was somebody to be nice.
Oh, good.
And you couldn't do
And
that.
guess what? I'm gonna start hiding shit.
You've already hid shit, Dan. You've already been hiding stuff. Danny Baldwin, I swear to God. Get out of my house! Danny, stop it!
Okay.
Go!
No.
My son is in here and you are a fucking asshole! Get out of my house now!
There you go, motherfucker. Fucker.
Yup, there you go. Go. Get out of my house, Danny. Go.
Let's stomp on some more shit.
How can improper relationships be corrected?
By change of mind of the person causing the improper relationship, or by changing the persons to the relationship. Some minds harmonize naturally,
The lips to kiss them, the legs to stand, the arms to...
while others just as naturally clash.
Get out of my house, Danny.
Successful human relationships, to endure as such, must be formed of minds that naturally harmonize, quite aside from the question of having common interests as a means of bringing them into harmony. When you speak of business leaders who succeed because they know how to pick men, you might more correctly say they succeed because they know how to associate minds which harmonize naturally. Knowing how to pick people successfully for any definite purpose in life is based upon ability to recognize the types of people whose minds naturally harmonize.
This ends lesson 26, my people. The links for Patreon and Badass Witch exclusive are in the description box if you'd like to join the private No Narc network, as well as the private Emerald Tablet book study. Cash App and PayPal links are there if you'd like to donate or support the channel. Links to anything else you might need are also in the description box. Super chat button is also on. This is the end of lesson 26. I will see you guys on lesson 27, my people. Peace.
The eyes to see them, the lips to kiss them, the legs to stand, the arms to hold them. Like, everything that you've been through in every relationship up until that point was preparing you for the person that you're with now. And I do believe that.